There is a certain beauty in the fight to believe again. The moment your mind tries to convince you that you've gone as far as you can go, that there's nothing more to give, is the very moment the divine within you starts to stir. It's the moment heaven leans forward, watching to see if you'll listen to fear or faith. And you must know this. Your mind can play tricks, but your spirit never lies. It knows who you are. It remembers what you're capable of. It carries the memory of every trial you've survived, every tear that turned into triumph. So when your mind says you can't, it's your spirit's job to rise and say, yes, I can. Because if you let doubt take the wheel, it will drive you straight into regret. It will make you live small when you were born to live wide. It will keep you silent when your words were meant to shake the world. There's something about human nature, how easily we accept the voice of limitation, but struggle to trust the voice of potential. We spend our days rehearsing what could go wrong, instead of imagining what could go right. We forget that fear is loud only when faith is quiet. You must never let the noise of doubt drown out the sound of your calling. There will always be reasons to quit. The road will never come without pain, without detours, without moments of uncertainty. But if you look back, truly look back, you'll realize that every moment that tried to break you also built you. Every no led to a better yes. Every closed door taught you to find a window. Every setback carried a hidden lesson that made you wiser, sharper, stronger. Sometimes the storm you're cursing is the one teaching you how to sail. You may not see it now, but every difficult chapter has prepared you for the strength you walk in today. When your mind says you can't, think of the times you already did. The nights you thought you'd never make it through, yet you did. The heartbreak that you thought would destroy you, but instead refined you. The loss that left you empty, but made room for greater blessings. You are still here. And that means there's something powerful still waiting to unfold. The mind is a master storyteller. It can tell you a tale of failure or a testimony of victory. The choice is always yours. You have to speak to yourself differently. You have to learn the language of belief. Instead of saying, I will find a way. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, say, I'm becoming ready. Because the truth is, no one ever feels completely ready for greatness. They just step forward anyway. And in that step, the power comes. In that movement, the strength appears. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to walk through it. You are the author of your own thoughts. If your mind is writing chapters of doubt, it's time to change the story. Write about the strength you have found in weakness. Write about the times you rose from ashes. Write about the fire that burns even when the world tries to put it out. There is a story inside you that the world needs to hear. But it can only be told by someone who refused to believe the lie of I can't. You must prove it wrong not only for yourself, but for every person who will one day draw courage from your example. Sometimes the most powerful act of rebellion is to keep going. When life tells you to sit down, stand taller. When people doubt you, let your success become your answer. You don't have to explain your fire to those who are comfortable in the dark. You just have to keep burning. You just have to keep moving forward, one breath, one prayer, one act of faith at a time. The mind can be trained. Every day you can teach it to see possibility instead of limitation. Start your mornings not with fear of what could go wrong, but gratitude for what could go right. Feed your soul with words that lift you. Surround yourself with voices that remind you of your worth. Because every influence you allow into your life shapes the way your mind thinks. And when your environment aligns with your purpose, miracles start to feel normal. You must remember, every champion you admire was once told they couldn't. Every visionary, every artist, every leader was once mocked for dreaming too big. But they kept going, not because they never doubted, but because they decided not to let doubt be the final word. They failed, they fell, they cried, but they didn't stop. And neither should you. You don't owe your past the courtesy of staying small. You owe your future the chance to see how great you can become. Some people will tell you that you're unrealistic, that your dreams are too bold. Smile at them, because those who call you unrealistic are often those who gave up on their own dreams. Let their disbelief become your motivation. Let their doubt be the wind that pushes your sails further. You were not born to fit into the expectations of others. You were born to expand them. There is an invisible power that comes when you say, I can. It shifts the atmosphere. It sends ripples through your soul. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's you recognizing that the same force that makes the sun rise each morning is the same force working through you. You are not separate from greatness. You are a reflection of it. And the moment you begin to act like it, everything changes. The world is filled with dreamers who never acted because their mind convinced them they weren't ready. Don't be one of them. Let your actions speak where your fears tried to silence you. Let your persistence become louder than your hesitation. Each step you take in the direction of faith weakens the grip of doubt. Each time you say, I will try, you reclaim a piece of your power. And even when progress feels slow, keep moving. Even when no one applauds, keep working. Because the truth is, greatness grows in silence. It matures in hidden places. The seed doesn't see the sunlight while it's buried, but it's growing roots. And so are you. Your season of breakthrough will come. But until it does, keep nurturing your mind with truth, with vision, with belief. Do not be afraid to talk back to your own thoughts. When your mind whispers, you'll fail. Answer, what if I fly? When it says, you're not enough, answer, I'm more than enough. You have to take authority over the words that echo inside you, because the words you believe become the life you live. You are not at war with the world. You are at war with the version of yourself that settled for less. Every day you choose courage, that version grows weaker. Every day you choose faith, your true self steps forward. That is what it means to prove your mind wrong, not through argument, but through action. So rise again. Step boldly. Walk in your purpose even when your knees tremble. Because somewhere deep within you, beyond the fear and the noise, there is a voice that still believes. Listen to that voice. Trust it. Feed it. Let it lead you out of the shadows and into the light that was always waiting for you. There is something sacred about the moment you decide not to listen to the noise anymore. The moment you silence the I can't and start whispering I will. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the quiet choices, in the long nights when no one sees you fighting, in the mornings when you get up again after falling, in the seconds when you could quit but don't. That's where strength is born, not in comfort, not in applause, but in defiance. The kind of defiance that says, no matter what my mind tells me, my spirit knows the truth. You begin to realize that the real prison was never failure. It was believing you were not capable of more. The greatest battles are not fought with swords or soldiers. They're fought inside your thoughts. Every dream begins in the imagination, and every downfall begins there too. You must guard it. You must train it. Because if you let your mind run wild, it will convince you that comfort is safety, that staying small is wisdom, that dreaming is foolish. But deep inside you is a truth that refuses to die, a truth that whispers of possibility, of growth, of purpose. It's the quiet reminder that there's something magnificent about being human, something unstoppable about the spirit that refuses to break. The world has a way of telling you what you cannot do. It loves to draw boundaries around your potential. It tells you to stay in your lane, to be realistic, to play it safe. But you were never meant to live in a cage built by other people's fears. Every time you accept their limitations, you abandon your own greatness. So when the voices of doubt come, whether from within or without, you must have the courage to answer with action. Let your persistence be your argument. Let your results speak louder than their opinions. You must learn to become your own encourager, because sometimes the crowd will be silent. Sometimes the world won't clap for your effort. And that's when you learn to clap for yourself. That's when you remind yourself that progress doesn't need an audience to be real. It just needs faith. You can't wait for validation to begin. Start where you are with what you have and keep moving. Because every small step forward is a declaration that you will not be defeated by doubt. When the mind says you can't, that's the signal to dig deeper. The resistance you feel is not a wall, it's a doorway. On the other side of that resistance lies the version of you that your fear can't control. To reach it, you must walk through discomfort. You must sit with your uncertainty and keep going anyway. Growth doesn't come wrapped in comfort, it comes clothed in challenge. It's the soil of struggle that gives birth to strength. Sometimes the mind will disguise fear as logic. It will give you reasons that sound so reasonable. You're not ready yet. It's not the right time. What if you fail? And you'll start believing them. But if you listen closely, you'll realize that those aren't warnings. They're excuses dressed up as wisdom. Because the truth is, the right time rarely announces itself. The right time is the moment you decide. The moment you stop overthinking and start believing. Faith does not ask for proof. It asks for movement. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You just need to trust that the ground will hold you. And even if it shakes, even if it cracks, even if you fall, you rise again with more strength, more wisdom, more clarity. Because life doesn't reward those who never fall. It rewards those who refuse to stay down. There will come days when you feel surrounded by impossibility. Everything will seem too far, too big, too hard. And that's when you remember that everything great was once impossible until someone decided otherwise. Every invention, every masterpiece, every miracle began as a thought that someone refused to doubt. You have that same power within you. The power to rewrite your story, to rebuild your confidence, to rise from ashes others thought would bury you. Your potential is not defined by what you failed at. It's defined by what you still dare to attempt. The enemy of progress is not failure. It's fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But once you stop running from fear and start walking through it, you realize it was never as big as it seemed. Fear shrinks in the face of action. Doubt dies in the presence of movement. Every time you push past what your mind says you can't do, you stretch your limits, you expand your horizon. You begin to operate not from memory, but from imagination. You stop living from the story of what has been and start living from the vision of what could be. You start to see that your power is not in knowing everything, it's in refusing to quit learning. And there's something extraordinary about that. Because when you live with that kind of faith, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop needing everything to make sense. You start to move from conviction instead of comfort. You begin to see challenges not as punishment, but as preparation. Every delay becomes direction. Every detour becomes divine redirection. You realize that the universe is not against you. It's shaping you. It's building you into the person capable of carrying the blessings you ask for. When your mind says you can't, it's often because it remembers your past. But your spirit knows your future. The mind looks backward to protect you. The spirit looks forward to propel you. You must choose which voice to trust. You can't step into new possibilities while worshiping old fears. You must let go of the stories that tell you you're not enough. You must rewrite them with truth, because you are. You are the sum of every victory, every lesson, every prayer that refused to die. You carry generations of resilience inside your bones. You have been through too much to stop now. You have walked through storms that others couldn't survive. You have cried tears that became rivers of wisdom. And still, you rise. So don't you dare let the voice of doubt silence the roar of your destiny. You were made for more than survival. You were made to soar. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is take one more step, not a giant leap, just one more. Because every step forward, no matter how small, carries the power of defiance. Every time you keep going, you're telling the universe, I believe. You're proving your mind wrong in the most beautiful way possible. By refusing to let fear have the final word. You don't have to be fearless to move. You just have to move afraid. You don't have to have all the answers to start. You just have to trust that the next step will appear once you take the first. Because the truth is, faith always rewards movement. It meets you halfway. It catches you when you leap. It multiplies your courage the moment you decide to act. And one day, you'll look back and realize that every time your mind said you couldn't, you did. Every time it tried to hold you back, you pushed through. You'll realize that the limits you once feared were never real. They were just shadows cast by doubt. And when light finally hits, the shadows disappear. That's what happens when you choose to believe. You become the light that dissolves the darkness of disbelief. You become the living proof that nothing is impossible when faith speaks louder than fear. There will be seasons when it feels like you're standing still, when progress seems invisible, and your heart whispers, maybe this is it. But that's a lie the mind tells when it's afraid of patience. Growth is happening in places you cannot yet see. Just as the roots of a tree dig deep before the leaves ever reach the sky, you too are becoming stronger beneath the surface. The silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something powerful is forming. That's why you must not give up in the quiet. That's why you must not surrender in the stillness. The absence of visible progress is not proof of failure. It's the soil where miracles grow. When your mind says you can't, it's because it's trying to protect you from pain. But in doing so, it also protects you from greatness. The mind is cautious, the spirit is courageous. The mind seeks safety, the spirit seeks purpose. You were not created just to survive comfortably. You were created to move mountains. And every mountain you face is a chance to prove that your faith is greater than your fear. You have to remember that the same power that breathes life into the stars is the power that breathes strength into you. You were designed to rise. Doubt will always sound convincing because it wears the mask of reason. It will tell you that it's only being realistic, that it's saving you from disappointment. But the truth is, disappointment does not destroy you, fear does. Every time you avoid trying because you might fail, you lose a little piece of your courage. Every time you choose comfort over calling, you silence the whisper of destiny. But courage grows the moment you take a step despite the shaking. Faith blooms the moment you move, even if you don't see the whole path ahead. The mind is a powerful tool, but it's a terrible master. You must train it to serve your purpose, not sabotage it. Speak to it with authority. Teach it gratitude. Teach it focus. Teach it peace. You have to remind yourself daily that your worth is not determined by your past or by your mistakes. You are not the sum of your failures. You are the evidence of grace. You are proof that the story isn't over yet. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still trying, that's victory in itself. When you look at people who inspire you, remember that they too had moments of doubt. They too faced nights of confusion, moments when giving up seemed easier. But what separates them from the rest is not luck or talent. It's the decision to keep going. Every extraordinary story began with an ordinary person who refused to stop. And you have that same power. The strength you admire in others is the same strength waiting to be awakened within you. You must understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every setback is a teacher. Every disappointment is seed. The lessons that break you are the same ones that build your wisdom. You learn what not to do, who not to be, and how to rise better than before. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are symbols of survival. They are reminders that you've been tested and still chosen to keep believing. The mind will try to drag you back into the familiar because the familiar feels safe, but nothing grows there. You cannot become who you are meant to be by staying where you are comfortable. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of fear, a stronger, wiser, more powerful version that can only be born through risk. Every step outside your comfort zone is a declaration that you trust the process. You may not see the whole picture, but you trust that every piece is leading somewhere divine. The truth is, your life expands in proportion to your courage. When you say yes to growth, yes to purpose, yes to believing again, you invite possibility into your existence. And it won't be easy. Growth rarely is. It will ask for sacrifice. It will ask you to release people who no longer align, to leave behind places that no longer serve you, to walk alone at times when you crave company. But what you gain in return is freedom. The freedom to live without regret, the freedom to dream without apology, the freedom to stand in your own light. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You don't need validation to prove your worth. Some will question your path, others will doubt your vision. But their disbelief has nothing to do with your destiny. You were not called to convince. You were called to create. You were not made to shrink. You were made to shine. And sometimes that means walking in faith when no one else sees what you see. When your mind tells you you're not ready, remember, readiness is a myth. No one ever feels fully prepared for their breakthrough. The leap always comes before the wings appear. You grow through action, not anticipation. You discover your strength by using it. You find your purpose by walking toward it, not by waiting for it to appear in perfection. Life rewards the brave, the ones who step even when their knees are trembling. And sometimes bravery looks quiet. It's not always grand or loud. It's the person who chooses to forgive instead of hate. It's the woman who keeps dreaming after heartbreak. It's the man who keeps showing up even when the world overlooks him. Courage is not always visible. Sometimes it looks like survival. Sometimes it looks like breathing through pain and whispering, Faishu, I'll try again tomorrow, but make no mistake, you were not meant to live halfway alive. You were not designed for mediocrity. There is a calling over your life that will not leave you alone. It will tug at your heart in the night. It will keep you restless until you answer. It will remind you that settling is a betrayal to your own potential. The ache you feel when you doubt yourself is not weakness. It's the soul's cry for expansion. When your mind says you can't, listen closely to your heart. The heart is where faith lies. It's where the whispers of God speak louder than the shouts of fear. The heart knows what the mind forgets, that you are capable of more than you can imagine. Every obstacle you face is an invitation to rise. Every limitation you encounter is a mirror asking, will you believe the lie or the truth? You were born with divine fire inside you. That fire doesn't fade, it just waits for permission. The moment you choose to believe again, it ignites. And when it burns, it lights up not just your path, but the paths of those watching you. Because whether you realize it or not, someone is inspired every time you choose faith over fear. Someone finds hope every time you refuse to quit. Your courage has a ripple effect. It reaches further than you can see. So when that voice in your head tries to hold you back, don't fight it with anger. Overcome it with action. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Keep proving that your will is stronger than your worry. Every day you wake up and move forward, you are defeating the greatest enemy of all, the one within. Because no matter how loud the mind says, you can't, your spirit was created to answer. Watch me. So when the noise grows louder, when your mind screams, you can't, stand still for a moment and remember who you are. You are not your fears, not your failures, not your doubts. You are the power that rose every single time life tried to break you. You are the living evidence that faith outlasts fear. Let your courage be the answer to every whisper of impossibility. Because there is no greater victory than proving your own mind wrong, no louder triumph than silence after the storm when you realize you did it. You made it. You became everything they said you couldn't be. And the world will never forget the sound of your spirit rising.